Hello?
Melchor, it's Carson.
Hey, Carson, what's up?
Hey, I was checking out this artist, Mamie Young, out of LA. One thing that's really remarkable about her is the way she does her marketing. I thought maybe possibly we could do an interview with her.
Yeah, you're Mamie Young out of Los Angeles, you said?
Yeah, yeah,
I actually follow her. Let's pull her up.
yeah.
That's a good idea. Hold on. Okay, let's see if she's available.
Oh, Melchor and Carson.
So, Mamie,
Hello.
uh, Los Angeles. Really wanted to get you on this interview. Me and Melchor
hmm
have been working with a lot of artists, and one thing that I was really interested about was the way that you market yourself. You just kind of exploded. It seems like you really hit like something with your paintings. You
I
know?
think,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of it is I really have to credit the fact that I've chosen these characters, these wind dancers, I call them tubies, that is such a popular icon in all of popular culture, and everybody knows them. Everybody has some kind of memory attached to them. And when I kind of settled on this, I didn't quite realize how much people like them. And I was really surprised to find that there wasn't any use of them in art and really in pop culture other than just kind of making fun of them as what they are. So when I found that, I felt like, oh, I got something really special here that I should explore and keep at it. So in terms of marketing, I think from the very beginning, it was just putting stuff on Instagram. Now, what I do now is I run Instagram ads. I run a couple of ads a month, not an obscene amount. I don't spend that much money on them, but it kind of just kind of puts the art in front of people and kind of gets them interested or just curious about this new thing that I haven't seen. Basically, I just promote a post
Hmm.
that I see that people are engaging with once I post it. And then you could choose to promote it for like a certain number of days, 15 days for like $5 a day or
Yeah,
something. And it
yeah.
reaches like a certain number of people. It depends on the budget. I mean, it could like kind of get really expensive if you're like, I don't want to spend $20 a day, but I just do, I don't know, a couple of bucks here and just kind of test it out. As far as other social media, I'm still learning. It's a work in progress.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you've done remarkably well with it. It seemed like even without paying for ads on Instagram, I mean, you were already building quite a
I
following.
mean, what do you guys do as artists as well? Like, I don't know. I love to trade some like
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
like tips and stuff.
I just kind of am persistent about posting. I've been becoming a little bit more ritual about it, making a ritual to, kind of catch up on it and to do it, pleasing an audience in a way, because I would post again and again and again, and you kind of have to balance, when you post, when you don't post. Been trying to like connect with people, trying to actually have a conversation with
Yeah.
someone if you enjoy what they do.
Like DMing people. I'm always surprised that like I think I DM'd Jerry Saltz once because he has like so many followers and he read it and responded to just one comment. I think that's a good strategy that you're doing, just reaching out to people, DMing, saying hi.
Are you selling directly off of your DMs? Are people messaging you?
I've sold, yeah, off of DMs, and then usually I just send them to the website. I've sold just via DMs, like, oh, you can just Venmo me, and I'll send, give me the shipping stuff.
Mhm.
Mostly off the website because I use Squarespace, and so they have a really good, like, kind of e-commerce setup for artists or just anybody who wants to sell online. There's a whole tracking system, and I use along with Squarespace is ShipStation, which is like you connect your account on Squarespace with ShipStation. So once an order comes in, you can go ahead and just, go and they'll take care of it. You can print all the labels at home, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit easier than me having to run around and like take a big package to the USPS and like weigh it. It's a little bit more streamlined that way.
That obviously you do apparel and stuff.
As far as apparel is concerned, the reason why I got into it, so you can see this is a prototype that I made of
Yeah.
a wind dancer or tubi jacket. I wasn't thinking about going into apparel and like selling, clothes or whatever. In the beginning, like I was thinking, don't feel super comfortable like just approaching strangers and talking to them about my art. I'm thinking at like a group show or something. And I was like, okay, I need to do something that kind of puts my, art on myself, but have it be a way to, help people start a conversation. So it's kind of like I'm not very social, so I was like, I need a way to do it.
You're like a walking wind dancer now.
Exactly. I mean, I might as well. And then the other thing is like, I was like, oh, like I have to pick an outfit every time I go to an art show or an art fair. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna do this. It's two birds, one stone. I figure out what I'm wearing all the time. I'll be consistent. And so when I wore it out or I shared it on Instagram, people were like, oh, that's really cool. Like I'm interested in buying. And I didn't even think I would necessarily be selling them. So now it kind of opened a door to, apparel and like shoes or whatnot. And now I'm kind of trying to figure out, I'm doing like a redesign and finding new vendors.
How are you transposing this image onto your garments, and like what your fabric, the printing, how are you?
Right now, I'm redesigning. So basically the artwork that goes on these this apparel right now that you see, this prototype and the one that I'm working on right now, it's a separate artwork. So I'm not literally taking the wind dancers, the 2B characters from my paintings and just like kind of cutting and pasting them together. So I'm redesigning them for, fabric, for textile basically. And right now I'm getting samples through like drop shipping companies. So if, people order something, I don't have to like have a stock, print on demand kind of thing. And there are a couple of vendors who do that on the internet, like Society 6 or Zazzle or Printful. All those stores do it, but then I'm trying to find one that will do the kind of printing that I want, which is overall print. And then also with the whole fabric situation, I'm trying to get samples to really figure out what's a good quality, because then a lot of the pricing will go into the quality of the garment that I get. So it's kind of hard to determine that.
That is something I know that's different with yours. It's called an overall print. Society 6 basically just gives you a square.
Exactly. And a lot of like those traditional, printers just do like an area in the front or the back. I'm looking for something a little different. So right now, I think my goal is, it's really a way for people to access my art on different levels, because, not everybody wants to or is able to spend, a lot of money on an original or even a print, or maybe, that's when you have a piece of art that you could wear, it's more versatile and, it's not just kind of static in like your house or your office. Oh, I was going to show you guys something. I don't know if you know, I have a card at Trader Joe's.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
Wind dancer card. It's like a birthday card. It says, I don't know if it's like flipped, but it says "Let's Dance," and on the inside it says, "Your birthday is officially open for business."
Yeah.
And this was an interesting story, like literally. So their rep from their private label card division, she said she was just driving down the street one day and she saw a wind dancer just like in front of some store, and she's like, hey, that'd be a great idea for a greeting card, because they're always coming up with new ideas. And I think she just went online and Googled and didn't find anything. But the way Google works is it kind of figures out what you're interested in, and then it'll kind of start showing you things like the next couple of days. And so I think that happened to her. And then one of my ads popped up in her Instagram feed. When she saw my art and reached out, I was like, yeah, I'm totally interested. So this is what I did. And they made some changes to it afterwards, but and they put the text in there. So yeah, it's really serendipitous, and it's the power of social media. It always feels kind of random. It definitely like opened a door where I'm like, oh, that's another route to kind of spread my art and then kind of make it commercially viable on top of like other things. We'll see. It's a lot of fun. This is a whole new world for me. It's all unexpected.
Carson, did you see the Trader Joe's card in the Portland Trader Joe's?
No, I'm sure it'll be there eventually, but.
Yeah, I think they rolled it out like maybe a month ago, like kind of everywhere. Like it took me forever to see it in LA. Like I kept going to Trader Joe's and and one day it just showed up. So
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was kind of surreal. And then like I didn't want to be like super creepy, like going in there like taking a photo at the booth, and the people were like, what is she doing? So random. You know, it's like you put something out in the world and you don't think anything's going to happen. And then, you know, the universe just surprises you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you are getting a little bit of publicity now. You had an article written about you in
On Superfine. Yeah, that was, so I applied for that Superfine art fair, the one in LA this past February. That was my first art fair and they accepted me, and I met James Mill, which is one of the co-founders with Alex Mitto, I think that's how you say his last name. And they were very kind. They helped me through the process. And then eventually somebody, you know, from the website also reached out and said, hey, do you want to do a little article interview? And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we just did it through email. I was actually in Australia at the time when I got that email. So I was like, just doing it on my phone at like 3 a.m. So it was a really valuable experience, the art fair, because for me, you know, sharing my art on Instagram or with friends and family, it's a pretty curated audience. It's either people who know me or people who are following, which means they're already fans of the work, or they're interested in my work. But to have the work in an art fair with just a ton of people going through, it's kind of, for me, it's like a cold audience. And so to get a sense of what everybody, the marketplace, would think about my art in that kind of setting was really valuable. And I got some really interesting feedback, good feedback. It was, for me, it was a kind of like a proof of concept that I was going on the right path, that my art, for some people, it speaks to them. And that's really what, you know, is the most valuable for me.
Carson introduced me to your artwork. You know, I see sort of a whimsical image and, you know, on a like a contrasting background. But then you look at it a little bit closer and it seems like you have like a poignant dialogue about excess consumerism.
Right. Well, that's definitely, you know, I think maybe several of my paintings might speak to that. I think my approach to these characters is that I want people to see something that's familiar, but maybe perhaps see them in a different way, in a way where put them in environments that they don't necessarily belong in, that creates some sort of tension. And the idea is to really use them as metaphors to talk about the world that we live in, whatever that might be. Sometimes it's political, sometimes it's like a kind of like an absurd dark humor kind of thing. Like, I don't know if you saw the one where I have the wind dancer that says funeral, and he's like, that's actually based on a real one that I saw, like a photo from the internet. And I don't know if somebody actually made it for a funeral, but I thought it was hilarious and so messed up. But so I saw like a print of that, and another one is like one that says like crime scene, and it's like pointing and it's all wavy.
I did see that one.
Kind of the absurdity of life. You know, I try to do it where it's not all, hopefully not all like political commentary. It's just a little bit of both, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with it.
The one that, what it's the soldiers dragging the air dancer, hot pink.
The riot police, yeah. It was like a photo I saw of these, I think the photo that inspired it was like some in Spain. I think it was like a riot police in Spain that like dragged like a protester away, and he was just like, he wasn't like fighting them, he was just like kind of limp. And I thought, oh my god, it'd be hilarious to, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna add the whole like no loitering law in the States. That seems to, you know, have an impact on a lot of, you know, communities of color, and just kind of like throwing in together. And that one, yeah, that was well received. It was a lot of fun to do. And I wasn't sure. It's one of those like, oh, am I going too far? Is it like,
I guess it's best just to create what you want to create, you know, and continue on.
Yeah, basically, you know, I think we all understand that. Not everybody, I think the thing is, don't make art so that, you know, that appeal to everybody, because I think by default that's average, because that's everybody. My goal is to really focus on a niche, you know, group, which is people who respond to my art, and keep making art for those people that enjoy it and that I enjoy making, and just forget about the rest. They can catch up later.
I hadn't really thought about that. That's interesting. You know, we're in this society now that growing your audience is so important, that comment is important in itself to continue making art for the people that are already appreciating it.
Right. Yeah, I think those are the people who are going to spread the art for you because it excites them and it delights them versus trying to compete. When you start making art that, appeals to the masses or whatever is trendy right now, what happens is then you're kind of vulnerable. Obviously, as artists, we don't want to fall into that trap because I really want my art to stand out and to be very specific to the audience that I serve. So I think that's the approach I'm taking. And hopefully, it's a little soon to tell. I could be totally wrong in 10 years and I'm completely unknown, and that's okay. I put out something unique into the universe, and that's cool. So we'll see. It's all work in progress. Time will tell.
So you guys, these videos are time limited.
I see
All
that.
right.
Oh, is it showing it to you as well?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what the countdown is? Okay, all right, gotcha.
Does it also tell you I should upgrade and pay for this service?
Oh, that's all you.
Well, Mamie, I would like to thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So nice seeing you guys virtually, at least. Exactly. Thank you for having me on here. It's such a pleasure.
Maybe
all
we'll
right.
do it again.
Yes, well, I'm sure. In real life.
All right,
Take care. All right,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Bye.